Hey, Boaz here with a Pedal Powered Talk Show. We're here at the Hotel Sorrento in Seattle to chat with musician and podcaster John Roderick. Let's go, Phil.
The Pedal Powered Talk Show is a talk show on a bike, and you're watching it now.
When you were a kid, what did you think you were going to be when you grew up?
Initially a fireman, and then I thought I was going to be a lawyer. My dad was a lawyer. And in my dad's imagination, I would be then the President of the United States.
Yeah. Were you passionate about music as a kid? Did you play instruments?
My father and my sister and my mother were all music appreciators, but none of them musicians. And I was a lazy kid. I didn't want to practice anything. And so I didn't really start learning the guitar until late in high school. You know, I didn't play my first show until I was 26. And my first album came out when I was 31, or 32. So I was a late bloomer.
Are you always working on music, or is it, and it's just sort of you wait until you have a body of work that you feel like, okay, this is something, or is it?
The one aspect that has challenged me is that as music recording became easier, generally, it became more difficult for me.
Yeah.
Because those systems weren't intuitive to me. I was used to wandering into a recording studio that cost money, that had professional people in it, and then I could, sort of lay back and say, I had an idea, and people would set up the microphones, and what I didn't understand how to do was do all that at home.
Right.
So it's been a long time since I released a record, and it plagues me. And every week I wake up and say, this is the week that I learn how to use analog duplicating apps.
You just have to get an intern.
I do, and I've hired a couple interns, and that's also a fraught relationship.
Yeah. Because
the people that want to be your interns are your fans, and then they are excited.
Turns into like misery or something.
Yeah, exactly. You're just like, okay, here we are in the room, and I need you to do these things. And they're like, and I was hoping you would read my journal. And you're like,
last year you ran for city council.
Yeah. Here in Seattle.
Yeah. What did you learn from that experience?
I learned that being a good public servant is a professional course. It's something that the best people have devoted their lives to it, just as you would devote your life to playing guitar or something. It's a thing that we commonly think of as a job that anybody could do. To be a good politician, I think you need to have a thick skin. Because people are yelling at you all the time.
Right.
You go into a public meeting, and you are the person that represents the government that people are going to exercise their grievance upon. Why don't we have more fish bowls in the public libraries?
Right.
I didn't even know that was a thing that mustaches should be illegal downtown.
Right.
I don't know why, but thanks for your vote. I want to help solve every person's problem.
Sure.
So somebody says, why are there not more fish bowls? And I'm like, I want to talk to you for 45 minutes about why you think that's a thing. And a politician needs to move on.
Would like to ask you a question from the Ask-O-Matic.
Oh, okay.
Our
That's
automatic
beautiful.
question asking device.
Where do these questions come from?
These come from the box.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. How high in the air do you wish you could jump?
As long as there are no limitations on it. I would like to be able to jump. So I would like to be able to jump in such a way that it would be indistinguishable from flying.
You could just sort of take really long bounds across the world.
Just just get up there into suborbit. And it's sort of a corollary of the would you rather be able to fly or be invisible question. And I think everybody generally agrees being invisible is the only correct answer.
Oh, really? I always thought that people who said invisible are creepy.
That's exactly right. They are creepy, but it's sort of like embrace your inner creep.
Yeah.
Because flying, none of your friends can fly.
Right.
So you're this weirdo that can fly. And what's up there? Even if you're...
Well, then you could get away from all the people who are invisible everywhere.
That's true.
Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and thanks for being willing to go without umbrellas.
I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that you were once voted third sexiest man in Seattle.
I agree that I am the third sexiest man in Seattle, but that's an interesting example of a kind of internet self-reinforcing echo chamber effect. I have no idea where I was voted Seattle's third sexiest man. What happened was, one time in an interview, someone said, "I hear you were voted Seattle's third sexiest man," and I said, "Where did you hear that?" And they said, "Well, I can't recall, but it was in a magazine recently." And I said, "I would like to get a copy of that magazine." "Well, I don't know what it was." And then that interview was published.
Right.
And then it became the reference point. The next interview I did, somebody said, "Wow, congratulations on being Seattle's third sexiest man." And I said, "Well, it's a little bit of a backhanded compliment, because I want to know who the first two were. But also, I don't know where that happened." And the more I've tried to say, like, I've never actually seen it, the more it's just like, now I think if you go onto my Wikipedia page, it says voted Seattle's third sexiest man. And there might even be citations.
Yeah, there are.
But they're citations to earlier interviews citing a thing that maybe is just made up.